drive in the car at the top end. And the sword, or not the sword, but yeah, whatever it is. They have so. The only watch is
You're on.
Yeah, but you have
Good morning. How about a nice hand for Milton Callan and the LFC Orchestra? Okay, you're going to notice some subtle differences between this all-staff meeting and prior ones. Hopefully you'll like them. One of the differences is you'll notice on your chair, in addition to a bunch of other documents, a little yellow card. And as we go through the presentations, any of the information that you hear today, if you have any questions, please write down your question on that yellow card. And then sometime toward the end of the meeting, we'll collect those cards, and then I'll answer the ones that I know the answers to. And the rest of them I'll answer later. Okay, so that'll be great. First thing we want to do this morning is to introduce some new employees. So I believe Vicki Azar, you've got some employees to introduce. Vicki, there you are.
Good morning, all. The branch division was very busy in the month of January hiring souls, so if you'll hold off in congratulating them all till I finish, because we've got several, and I don't believe any of them are here this morning. First off, we have Helen Couture Anderson in Palmdale. Helen's a full-time teller, and she comes to us from the East Coast. She had 20 years plus experience with Bayshore Bank, and very happy to be here, and we're happy to have her. Kimberly Hendry also joins the Palmdale team. She's a full-time teller, and she's got 2 years from Antelope Valley Credit Union. In our Valencia branch, we have Virginia Monroy, and Virginia is a full-time teller from Telesis Credit Union. She's a financial services representative, had telephone and account executive experience. In Woodland Hills, we have Marcus Collin, and Marcus is a part-time teller that comes in the afternoon to help out with our lobby traffic. He has a background in customer service, cash handling, and computer skills, and he's bilingual, which helps out a great deal. And finally, in Houston, anybody who's talked to folks in Houston, Jamie Franklin is actually been with us since October. She was working as a temporary out there, and she comes in, and she comes from Southwest Bank. She's outgoing and a delight to work with, and all of the branches are extremely pleased to have them on board. So if you have an opportunity to talk to them, please wish them well. Thank you.
It's much better to be outgoing and a delight to work with than the opposite of that, so that's good to hear. Moses Ramirez, I think you've got something to introduce.
Okay, I don't see him here, but we do have a new member to the LFC Financial Services Group. You may have seen him around before and say, well, he doesn't look too new. He was working for us on a contract basis temporarily and did such a good job that Jan made him an offer he couldn't refuse. He comes to us with a rather good background in banking. He worked for Kangyo Daiichi Bank, which later merged into Boney, which is Bank of New York. Bill Coogan, welcome to LSU Financial Services.
Well, come on up, Vicki. You missed somebody, you get a second chance.
My apologies to the Valencia branch and Sandra Ortiz. She also joined our team. She's a part-time teller. She comes to us from Burbank Federal Credit Union, and she had experiences as a member service representative and an account team leader. So, thank you.
And she didn't read off there, she is also outgoing and a delight to work with. Kathy Baker.
I have Susanna Anzari, and she is our floater. Stand up, Susanna. She is our floater that floats between collections, research and records, and item processing. She comes to us from EDS Data Center. She has many years of experience with all of item processing and with check research. And she is local here in Burbank, and we're real happy to have her. I also have another one that is back. Susie Macias is back call item processing and ask for Sue. I'm sure somebody will answer.
Okay, and Barbara, I think we've got a couple people. Nice entry.
Morning, everybody. Many of you have already seen and met the two people who are manning the fort out at Camarillo. We got it open. That's William Reeder and Ingrid Ward. William comes to us directly from Ventura County Credit Union, and he's familiar with the Camarillo area. We're going to take advantage of that knowledge. He's already hitting the ground running and got some potential segs lined up for us. Ingrid comes to us with about 30 years of banking experience. She's recently from Bank One, and she loves to do public speaking, which obviously I don't, so I'll sit down.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, the next item on our agenda here is... that's what it is, exactly. Anybody figure out what the next item is? Service Champion. We're going to have our monthly drawing for the $100 Blockbuster gift certificate. By the way, feel free to sing along at any point in the ceremony here. So we had a whole bunch of folks. Where have you been shopping, Jan? A whole bunch of folks who qualified by virtue of the fact that they went above and beyond the call of duty to become service champions. This is helping members or helping internal customers. So I'm going to dip into this beautiful hat here and pick out the winner of the $100 Blockbuster gift certificate. I'll just mix them up so I get a real good random thing, and it is Melissa Padilla. Melissa. You have a VCR. Okay, next I have a whole load of promotions to announce that happened since our last meeting, evidently. And if by the time I finish this there's somebody who hasn't been promoted and you would like to be, just stand up and see if we can make something happen. The first one is Angie Hummel, promoted to Regional Account Manager in Burbank. Lisbeth Castillo, you can hold your applause to the end because we'll never get through this thing otherwise. Lisbeth Castillo, promoted to Regional Account Manager, Woodland Hills. Stephanie Diaz, Financial Services Officer in Thousand Oaks. Ted Kim, promoted to the Director of E-Marketing. Giorgio Cesaris, promoted to Financial Services Officer in Pasadena. Richard Ayala, promoted to Financial Services Officer in Thousand Oaks. Rick Gerard, promoted to AVP of Internal Consulting. Lolita Russell, promoted to Financial Services Officer in Pasadena. Christina Cavazos, promoted to E-Coordinator. E-Coordinator. I was promoted to E-CEO, by the way, so whatever that is. Jody Cromar, promoted to Collector, and Elisa Jaramillo, promoted to Internal Auditor. How about a nice round of applause for all of them? Next, we have a whole bunch of folks who made certain milestones in their seniority here, and I'm only going to announce the 5 years and above. So I can figure out which boxes go with which. We'll be in great shape. Okay, got it. Jan, can you help me out with giving these things away here? Okay, first of all, for 5 years of seniority, first one is Diane Ariola. Diane, are you here? Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a well-oiled machine here, isn't it? We've just got this thing down to a science. Okay, the next is Cindy Azari. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Cindy? Are you here? No. Yes, absolutely. I've been waiting for this. Lillian Liamos, also 5 years of seniority. Congratulations. Loretta Cosgrove. Is that you also? Way to go. You might as well just stand there. 10 years seniority, which comes with this beautiful cardboard box. There's nothing inside of it, but actually there is a pin with 2 diamonds on this thing, which is kind of nice. And the first person who's hit 10 years, John Liljeberg from Nashua. Okay, this person might be here. Catherine Rivera? Catherine Rivera, 10 years of seniority. Is that you also? Got work out there, Vicki. All right, I know these 2 people are here. 15 years of seniority. Susan Gregory. And also 15 years of seniority, Jackie Welker. Jackie, where are you?
I almost wanted 50 to do.
Okay, next. I guess we should have done this the last time, but we didn't. An award for 12 months of perfect attendance, and that is, what is that award? Wayne, it's a $1,000 savings bond, is that correct? $1,000 cash. That's better than a $1,000 savings bond.
It used to be $1 million savings bond.
Okay, that's good.
Figured they'd like the cash instead.
And once again, we have the services of our beautiful hat to tell us the folks who had the perfect attendance all throughout the year 2000. And the winner is Yvette Noterman. We don't trust Vicki with that $1,000 in cash, so we'll just mail it to her, okay? Okay, the next thing we're going to do is have some presentations from most of our VPs. I thought it would be a good idea if each of our VPs had a theme song. Don't you think that'd be a good idea? Something you could identify. When you hear this song, you're going to think of these people. The first one doesn't happen to be a theme song. It's more of an announcement. But this is for Phil Hart. Phil?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Okay, we have the dashboard, and I don't know if all of you have copies of the poll. I don't know if you can see this or not.
Here you go.
Can't hear me. I don't know if you can see this, but we'll go through it. You have, I hope you have your sheets on your seat. The ROA for the month is 58 basis points, 11 basis points ahead of our target for the month. So we're off to another good start. Really the ROA variance, positive variance, is really due to the operating expenses. The operating expenses are pretty much right in line. Actually, they're actually below what we had projected. Most of that is due to the relationship pricing not going into effect yet. So there was a lot of money sitting in for the month. I'll skip over the members and we'll talk about that at the end. The average deposit, we're actually above our target so far for the year. I think that's the first time we may have done that in the last year or so. And the average deposit is pretty close to being right on target also. So far, it's a pretty good year. Only the first month. We'll have to see how it goes, but all indications are is that it'll be another good year. You can see the middle one is we kind of took out the reserve item that we had last year, and we put in the members, because this is a key goal for us, is to develop members, which will hopefully then produce loans and deposits for us. And you can see, I can't read it, my eyes are terrible. We're pretty much close to being on target at this point, a little slightly below. But the bottom part, you can see the seg development. This is a key driver in whether we're going to meet our membership goal this year. And you can see that we have developed a little chart here that shows our seg development. And it recognizes how many segs that we have developed over the last month, and what size they have, what potential members they have. And as we go through the year, we'll actually put down how many members we've actually accumulated from those segs. And down below you can see the number of segs that were included in the charter in January. So this will give you an idea of how we're doing in our membership growth. And that's about it. Any questions?
You have to write it down on the card.
Oh, okay. Any questions? Write them.
I should also mention, by the way, that at the end of the meeting here, we are going to have a little game show-like event, so you should pay real close attention to the things that are being said. Okay? You might want to write those down, too. There is going to be a quiz for which you can win valuable prizes.
That hat?
That hat, exactly. Exactly right. Okay, our next VP to make a presentation, Al Dutra. Hit it.
Doesn't make a darn bit of sense, does it? How many of you like and remember that song? Yeah, I know what you were doing when it came out. Okay. Dory didn't answer, and I know what you were doing. You know, Dave has a little idea machine going off in his brain. Would somebody tell this man we're having fun? See if we can get the machine turned off? Okay, we had some branch manager changes that are coming up. Nadine's going to go to Valencia. She was tired of this building, begged us to get out of here, so she's on her way, going to go up to Valencia. Sabrina is going to move out to Palmdale, and Deanne Phelan's coming down here. So I think all of you saw that. That's effective tomorrow? Tomorrow. Barbara mentioned to you that we did open the Camarillo branch. I want you to know they opened 4 new memberships the very first day and got 2 auto loans. So they're busy out there. And speaking of busy, you have to take pity on the real estate department. Normally, we have a pipeline of anywhere from 9 to 12 million. We have a pipeline of $37 million. We're in a huge refi boom. So if you see cots up there, that's because they're staying overnight, using the shower rooms, so take pity on them. On the consumer lending side, they've been busy re-engineering the indirect lending program, signing up dealers in the San Fernando Valley, so they're getting busy getting that kicked off again. So everybody's working hard. Somebody tell Dave we're having fun, okay?
Thank you, Al. Okay, next we have one of the carpenters, Andrea.
Stop, oh yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Wait, Mr. Postman. Mr. Postman.
Get it?
Oh,
Thank you, Milton. Okay, I want to take just a few minutes to tell you about, and hopefully this is not a surprise to anybody in this room. And if you're surprised, then we need to talk, I guess. But tomorrow, as you know, is the first official day of the Relationship Rewards Program. Yes! Okay. 1 year later, you guys. Okay, so we all know, and as soon as the members receive their statements, our members will know that they are now, most members, a lot of members, qualifying automatically for a bunch of free stuff that they told us they wanted. So we're real excited about this, and in the statements, we have some pieces that are announcing the program. The pieces have a slightly different look than a lot of the marketing materials we've had before. So take a look at them, watch the branches, the new posters will be coming up, and they're hard to miss. I brought a sample of just 2 of the elements to give you an idea of this new look that we're migrating to. And again, the goal is to get our members' attention. That's the most we can ask for. Everybody's overwhelmed with mail and so forth. And encourage the members to ask you what this is all about. And so therein lies the opportunity to sell the packages and get more of our members' business. So some of the elements that you'll see around the branches and so forth will look something like this. This is a mock-up, but very bright colors and just a little bit of copy because we know nobody has time to read. This poster here says, ding dong, the ATM fee is dead. That's a good thing. And there's a little witch down here. So just, kind of fun stuff. Another poster, for example, is get your money for nothing and your checks for free. It's good, it's good. These guys are clever. So we're really hitting hard with the free ATM access, or technically rebated fee ATM access, surcharges and so forth. And at this point, I'd like to invite John Reamer up to say special thanks to the people that made the relationship rewards packages happen. That's a lot of work. Thank you.
Thanks, AC. Things like this don't happen automatically, as the last year and a half will attest to, but there has been a group of people that have been meeting every Friday for the last 15 weeks to get this whole relationship rewards program implemented, make sure all the programming's done, make sure all the marketing pieces get done, make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, not the other way around. And we would like to take some time right now and recognize them. We didn't have to postpone the March 1st rollout date even one time after we decided that's what we wanted it to be, and that is due in large part to the efforts of this group of people. So when I call your name, please come up, and we'd like to award you with a free certificate for a 10-minute massage, which I'm sure you all need. So Daniel.
No, it's not. Wishful thinking.
Vicky Azar. Sharon Corbett.
You gotta shake hands first.
Christina Cavazos. It's a long aisle to walk down. Ken Weaver. Desiree Shipley. And in particular, we'd like to especially single out the folks in MIS who pretty much dropped everything else to make sure that relationship rewards happened. And those people are Tony Robinson, Susanna Madrano, who is, and Bob Rivera. Thank you very much, and good luck with this tomorrow.
Okay, next we have our resident lawyer, Wayne Schulman.
As Dave mentioned, we were going to have a little quiz at the end, so I wanted to just prime the pump here a little bit and see if I get your quiz-taking skills in order. Let me give you a quick multiple-choice question. You're flying at high altitude over the Pacific, coming up on the West Coast on your way to the East Coast. And just as you hit the West Coast, you look down out of your airplane window, and you see one of three cities. A, LA, B, Denver, C, Philadelphia. Which one is it? A, right, UCLA. Okay. That's recycled. You are all now students at UCLA. Of course, you can't use the handicap spaces. Those are reserved for the football players. All right, I have a couple things I want to announce. We have a new newsletter coming out. You'll all remember our former newsletter called Outlook. And this is going to be a combination e-based newsletter and also available in hard copy if you need to print that off. We're getting to work on that right now. But we thought we ought to name it because if it was Outlook, we thought it might be confusing with Microsoft Outlook. So there'll be an email coming out today looking for your submissions for that. And the winner of that contest will get 60 minutes of massage credit, or a car detailing voucher, or 2 tickets to the Magic Castle. So please come in with your good ideas. I think Scott won the name our EagleNet site, so you've got some heavy competition. Scott, we're not going to call it EagleNet, so you'll have to come up with another one. Also, we have a time management program coming up. The first session for that will be March 22nd. And integrated into this time management process, we want all of the employees to be able to have some kind of resource for managing their time. So we'll have available to everybody who goes through this, and all new employees who come in will also have an opportunity to go through this and get some sort of time planner to walk around with and to utilize. So please make a reservation and find time to attend that. You'll see some announcement coming out. You'll see that on the EagleNet training calendar. A couple of other training things going on. In sales training, we have Successful Sales Through Service, and that class will be on March 8th, so that's coming up, so again, you can reserve on that. We're also going to be rolling out, as part of that program, a sales survey, and some of you went through the Sales Plus, Service Plus. Remember when we went to the mall? How many went through that and did that and rated it? How many of you like Macy's? Good. They didn't come out so good, did they? But the nice thing, Harvard did. What we learned through that program was being able to identify what good service was and what it wasn't. We were kind of able to take that back to our own company and say, how does that make me feel when somebody did something that made me feel good, and how do we do that for our members? And more importantly, what was it about that service that was frustrating or made me feel bad or not want to go there anymore, and kind of bring some sharpness to that. So that'll be part of that program, and we're hoping that all our employees, in fact I think we're demanding that all our employees do this survey activity. So we'll have this information for you to be able to do that. And then the other program we have is Needs Satisfaction Selling, and that'll be on March 20th and 21st. Again, that'll be on the EagleNet training calendar. Take a look at that. And then the rest of the quarterly calendar coming out from the second quarter will be out for you to take a look at. So we hope you take advantage of all our programs. And I think that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Wayne.
I'm sorry. If you look on your chairs, we have a couple more things for you. Again, the great place to work, training and HR staff. I want to give a round of applause to them. They've done a very good job in a very short time of bringing some complex things to the credit union. And these are things that we've said we'd like to do for quite some time, and there was always a reason that we couldn't do it. And just, you know, thanks to Dave, we cut through some of the red tape and said, we've got to find a way to do that. And so we brought those to you. We've got the dry cleaning valet service, which you've seen. I think they were here yesterday for the first go-round. We've got the on-the-job stress buster massages, which I think those of you who have signed up for that, please let everybody know how it went. and I think you'll find that is quite enjoyable. And the on-site car washes. Right now, of course, all of us are having our car washed, but after the weather clears up, it'll actually be done without spots. So we look forward to more trips like things to the Magic Castle and other things as we have them available. You'll see them announced both in Eagle and on here.
Thanks, Wayne. All right, next we have our own Mr. Excitement, Marv Kwan.
You know, can you think back of anybody who had a nickname when you were a kid? And how did the nicknames start? They start with just kind of one moment, something you said, or maybe you tripped, or some small event, and then everybody picked up on that, and then the nickname stuck for several years until you disassociate yourself with all those friends, and so no one ever knew you. Well, I kind of feel one of those moments has occurred in my life, but anyway. That's all right. I just want to take just a couple of minutes to tell you about what's happening in one of the projects we're working in IT. IT is working with several branches to do a new membership application online. And we were ready to go with this a couple of months ago, where we created an application that looked identical to the paper application that we use here in the branches. We were about ready to roll that out, and people online would see the application, they would print it, they would fill it out, they would sign it, they would find a notary, they'd notarize it, and then mail it in. And just as we were thinking about, wait a minute, we're going to be new and different. We're going to try to extend ourselves. So as a committee, we thought back and said, well, what can we do to really maximize the service as it relates to online applications? So we said, well, how about, we said to the group, how about if we just did away with the notary? And you're waiting to say, you know, for people to say, no, we can't do that. But they said, yeah, we can do that. So then we said, well, how about if we did away with the printing? And waited, and thinking that someone would say, no, we can't do that, but figured a way. And we said, well, how about if we did away with the CU online form, separate form that they sent in? And they said, I think we can do that. And then we said, well, how about if we did away with not having to send a photocopy of their ID? And waited, and people said, yeah, I think we can do it. It's really fun to work with a group who is thinking about new ways of doing things and bringing our company forward. So then I said, well, how about if we didn't ask for any ID at all, just let them have an account? And then they said, you're nuts. We're very close to rolling out a new process that would go totally paperless, which would fit in and promote our online services. And so you'll see that soon.
Thanks, Marv. Appreciate you being a good sport, too. That's great. I thought it would be great for me to have a theme song as well. Don't you think so? I think I need one, too. So I'm looking for something kind of humbling, you know, very, very simple. What do you think? I have just a couple things to tell you about. I mentioned them in the email that I sent to you all. First of all, relative to our major issue, the one in which we're looking at whether we convert to a state charter. That is something that is going to be of permanent significance to this organization. We are reviewing all of the facts associated with that and continue to look at those facts. We had a charge from the board to come back at the February board meeting and give them what we knew so far and what our recommendations were. And there are a lot of unknowns in that issue. One of the unknowns is whether or not the state charter is going to get any worse or any better, whether or not the federal charter might improve in terms of the value to federally chartered credit unions. And the other thing that we don't know is yet whether or not our own growth initiatives are going to be sufficient to prevent us from even needing to convert to a state charter. So based upon all those unknowns, we basically punted that question back to the board and said, give us at least 9 months. And at the end of that 9-month period, we want to review where we are in terms of our own growth initiatives, and then we will be ready to make a recommendation. Now, it may happen sooner than that. If we see that our own growth is inadequate, or if the window is closing on the state charter and we feel as though we have to make that move right away, we may do that sooner than that 9-month period. But that's the plan right now, and we'll see how it goes over the next 9 months. In the meantime, we have a number of things that we are looking at in order to fulfill our own growth. And you've heard about a couple of them with the new branches and so forth. But also, John and his group are now looking at the possibility of adding associations to our field of membership. And by virtue of adding those associations, basically anyone who would be able to join the association or who is a member of the association would also be able to join our credit union. Now, if you think about that, there are some associations that you can join if you plop down your $5 and say, hey, I'm a member. And so that's one of the type that we are looking for. Another would be homeowners associations. We're able to target specific neighborhoods in the areas that we're looking to increase our growth. And another would be high technology trade associations that have the kind of companies involved that are the ones that we're targeting, the high-tech companies with the good incomes and low turnover and those sorts of things. So those are some of the things that we're doing in terms of our growth. Now, another one that is significant currently is that we have a proposal in to merge with Newport Mesa Federal Credit Union. That is a credit union located in Orange County. They're about $28 million in assets. Their own growth potential is not very good, quite frankly. But for us, it would be a foothold in an area where we're looking to grow eventually. If these branches in Thousand Oaks, Camarillo, and Pasadena go well, and we think they will, then our next move would probably be into Orange County. So this basically would give us a shortcut to add $28 million in assets, immediately give us a scale and a foothold in an area where we eventually know that we want to be. So I'll let you know as that process continues. And that's basically all I wanted to tell you about the things that are going on this morning. Again, if you had any questions about the email that I sent you all, please do either write them down or send me an email or what have you. At this point, if anyone does have any questions on their little cards, their little yellow cards, if you wouldn't mind passing them forward, and we'll go ahead and collect those. Anybody have any cards? Not one question in the entire... We got a question from Danielle. She still wants to know if I'm doing the massage.
This is a big question that a lot of my folks keep asking. So.
Probably could have asked this since it's the only question we have. Meantime, let me think of an answer for this, and we'll go on to the next section if that's okay. Liliana, I think you wanted to make an announcement. Sorry we don't have a theme song for you, but maybe next time.
Well, Al and I didn't quite coordinate this really well. As he mentioned, our real estate department has been really working fast and furious, trying to keep up with this flood of loans that we got during this refi boom. And right now, I'd like anybody that is here from the real estate department, can you please come up here? Because I just want you to recognize them and at least come on up, just so that you can see them.
They don't want to come up.
Well, they're going to have to, because if you see some really tired faces, I want you to see them. And we have two loan officers, Zena and Ellen, who have been down here, and they have just been working way beyond the call of duty and then some. They've been working here, trying to keep up with phone calls, taking all their work home to keep up with everything. The operations staff increased their volume by threefold and fourfold, and they just, in fact, the funders today, well, actually, you did come down. We have funding, so today I think they're going to fund. I think yesterday you funded like $2.5 million, and today have another $2.5 million to fund, and it's just incredible. They're coming in early, staying late, working Saturdays, and so the minute that it was announced that we were going to have these massages available, I thought my department gets it first. So, as you see from the email, they are the first ones. So they will today we'll have them, the massages going as they're trying to work, just to keep them going, so they don't give up. So I just want you all to give them all a round of applause.
congratulations to all of you, and thank you so much for all of your efforts. Okay, next, Jerry Rossler and Kathy Baker had something they wanted to announce as well. Jerry? Kathy?
Thank you. A few things I just wanted, it's a little housekeeping I just need to cover up. From time to time I get emails or I meet people in the hallways and they make suggestions, so I thought I'd pass them on to you. The first one is your badges. We use these, and more you're seeing that they're needed to get into places that we are trying to restrict public access. So two things with the badges that have come up and have been brought up to me by your fellow employees is one having to do with borrowing badges, okay, somebody else's badge. That's not what we want to do, and we have somebody downstairs in security, Charlton. During your work day, if you need a badge, please go down and see him. He'll borrow you one for a day, a week, or however long you need it. We'll replace it if you lose your badge. But borrowing somebody else's badge is not something we want to encourage. Additionally, there's a term that's known in the Department of Defense industry as tailgating, okay? And it doesn't have anything to do with driving a car. It has to do with people following you through when you go through an access control door. So 2 or 3 people. Now, I don't care if another employee goes through with you. That's not a concern to us unless we're talking about maybe in the data processing or ECS area. What I'm talking about is members following you through. That's one way we're going to get people in areas that we want to keep them out. So if you see a member that's lost, or if they are wandering around in the areas that we're trying to control access to, a couple suggestions. One is like the grocery store now. If you ask them where applesauce is in the aisle, instead of saying over there, they actually take you and bring you over there, okay? Or in this case, you could bring them down here to the phone or to the waiting area and have the person come down and see them that they need to see. But we're trying to keep them out of our normal work area. And those are things that are brought up to me. Additionally, we're having upgrades done to our fire alarm system. So for today, and today only, I'm giving you special compensation. If you hear the alarm, you don't have to go out in the rain. I guarantee you it'll be okay today, but only today, okay? Because I said, if they set off the alarm today, they're going to kill me if they have to go outside in the rain, So we are doing upgrades to the system today and only today. And I don't think you'll have any false alarms, but if you do, it will be one, most likely one today, okay? I think I've covered that. And the reason Kathy and I primarily are up here is to talk about our emergency response team. It consists of 22 active members, and Kathy's going to tell you a little bit more about them. We have our next meeting on March 8th, and my purpose is just to tell you that they're working, they're here, they're very energetic in their duties. We have a budget this year from LFCU for supplies, training, additional radios, etc. for the team. We encouraged, if anybody's interested, and I know people have mentioned to me from time to time, timing is good. It's going to be March 8th from 8 to 9 in the boardroom. We have our next meeting. And if you're interested, please check with your supervisor and come on up and meet us. Is that the right?
Yes, and get out before you
Okay,
spoil
wait,
my
just
thunder.
one more thing. I couldn't do this without Kathy, okay? I have to give her thunder back, okay? She saves my life every Friday, because every Friday I forget we have a radio drill, and William walks in my office and tells me I just burned up, okay? So this is the energy behind the unit, okay? So you know how the man behind the woman? Well, I'm going to give you the person that's really in charge here.
Okay, so did you know we have an emergency response team? And do you know that we are trained in search and rescue, in fire suppression, in first aid? We do have a team that can get you out of here in an emergency. We meet, we have radio drills every Friday where we practice evacuating the building. And then we meet once a month to go over emergency response techniques so that we don't forget how many times to push on your chest for CPR. And so with that, what I'd like to do is introduce all the members so that you know who they are. We have the building divided in 3 floors and in sections, so that when we have to evacuate, we do it in a logical fashion. So on the first floor, please stand. We have Sarah Pena, Nancy DeRozzo, new member to our group, Milton Cowan, myself, Jay Schaefer, Michelle Stevenson, Chuck Wright, Charlton Brewer, and Ken Flynn. And those are the people that would normally be around on the first floor evacuating. On the second floor, we have Jerry Rossler, who stays in his office all the time, Scott Schmidt, Georgie McQuitty, Ann Roberts, Maria Delatorre, and my Dory Reed. And then on the third floor, we have Chris Whitfield, Don Gray, Lisa Perez, Debbie Rose, Roxanne Oliver, Steve McCroskey, and William Waters. So that's your team, and we do know how to evacuate this building. So if the alarm went off, would you know what to do? What you need to do is get up immediately, move to the stairwells, and exit the building. Once you exit the building, you need to meet in your manager's parking spot. And if you don't know your manager's parking spot, then today might be a good day to ask and find out where it's at. And then if you have people that you know were with you when that alarm sounded and you don't see them now, make sure that you let either your manager know or a team member know so that we can go and find those people. And the only other thing I would say, remember, do not use the elevator in an emergency. And we will have a team member there that sends you to the stairwells. And then if anybody wants to join the team, it's strictly voluntary, but I can tell you it's a lifetime of education that you will always be able to use, and we could really use your help. So just give Jerry or me a call. Thanks.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Kathy. All right, it's time for our meeting content quiz drawing. Yes, indeed. We're ready. What we're going to do is draw 3 names out of this beautiful hat. And I don't want to embarrass anybody, so if I call your name and you don't want to respond, just say, hey, I passed, okay? No problem. And the first person is Maggie Valencia. Maggie, would you like to, where are you? Maggie, don't, please pass me. Would you like to try this? Come on up. Come on up. First question is going to be very easy, then they're going to get a little tougher. Maggie, what is my name? Dave Styler, that's right. And Maggie wins a $25 gift certificate to Barnes & Noble. They get tougher though, okay? So that was basically just for being brave enough to be the first one to try that. Marileth Menikis. Marileth. Vacation? All right, she doesn't get to try. This one's all wadded up, but it's Linda Aranda. Linda?
Come on, Linda.
You'll love this one. You ready? What is Marv Kwan's theme song? Hey, hey. No audience participation here. All right, very good. Had to force it out again. And the last one is really tough. Betsy Salgado, are you here? Pass? Big mistake, Betsy. Stephanie Pressel. Stephanie?
You can do it.
All right, Stephanie. Hope you were paying attention during my little presentation there. You came in late? That's not something you want to announce. All right, how late were you? Did you hear my little speech about the credit union we're going to merge with? Okay, what is the name of that credit union that we're considering merger with? Newport Mesa Federal Credit Union. Oh, she also got a $25 gift certificate to Barnes & Noble. That's what the basic prize is there. Okay, I'm going to answer this question here. The question that Danielle gave me, can you clarify what the dress code is when we wear our polo shirts? Can we wear jeans other than blue jeans? And the answer is yes. Jeans are normally a part of the dress code other than blue jeans. So you can wear jeans as long as it's okay with your department manager and they haven't specified other rules as approved by the VP of HR, you can wear jeans. Okay? Any questions about that? But they can't be blue jeans. A lot of rumbling, a lot of mumbling. Okay.
Does that mean jeans every day, was the question over here? We can wear jeans every day?
The answer is yes, unless your specific department has a more restrictive code as approved by the manager and by the VP of HR. So the normal policy is, yes, you can wear jeans every day. Nice jeans, not raggedy, no holes in the pockets, that kind of thing. Kind of I have. No rips, no cuts, no threads showing, etc. Okay? Next thing we have to do, and the last thing we have to do, is the Perfect Attendance Awards for 12 months of perfect attendance. And would you mind helping me out with this, Jan, so we can get through this quickly? Linda Aranda, 12 months of perfect attendance. Richard Ayala. Judy Barrick. By the way, these all come with a $200 savings bond. Thomas Bramson. I don't think he's here, possibly. Loretta Cosgrove. Deborah Ellis. Diana Herrera. Beatrice Lai. She probably went back upstairs. And for 2 years of perfect attendance, which comes with two $200 bonds, June Kelleher. And lastly, Kathy Baker, who has 3 years of perfect attendance, which means 3 $200 bonds. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the meeting, and thank you very much for attending.
I know.